Hello and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Nedley Thompson. Without the Thompson. And as always and as usual, I am joined by my platonic husband, also the exact same person, Kristian.
I regret keeping this jumper on.
Toasty?
Well, I've been comfortable all day, and somehow I've suddenly got real toasty. Yeah,
We've turned a lot more on in terms of electrical power.
That's true.
I'm here.
Yeah, Jack really does heat things up.
I do. I'm obese, that's why. I give off natural heat and energy.
Sweater, jumper, looks like you're burning. Yeah, I'm warm.
It's a good jumper, though.
It's nice, I like it.
Like
I'm a big fan.
I do like it.
And it's December now.
I was going to say, it's an allowed time to wear said jumper. I'm sure I'll wear I'll probably wear my Christmas jumper from one of the shows. Probably the last show.
I was thinking yesterday while I was just wandering around.
So I won't be
That'd be, yeah. I was wandering around London yesterday. Just there were many people obviously wearing Christmassy things. Makes sense. And I was thinking, imagine a rabbit hole Christmas jumper. It would make me really happy.
I can already see it.
Yeah.
It'll be largely blue. All the accents and stuff will be white.
Yeah.
Some Christmassy designs, and then you'd have like an embroidered
Christmassy Sid. Yeah.
I can already see it in my head. And we just need to find a nana to knit it for us. It was 80 Fahrenheit down here. Oh, okay. You corrected yourself into the correct. If freezing isn't 0, you're on the wrong system. 26.6. Yeah. In December. Oh, you had a belly button on the stream.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Could have been
worse.
Cock
26 degrees. 26 degrees is like 9 degrees above optimal for me. I'm like tapping out at 17.
It's about 20 degrees above optimal for me. Actually, that's not true. I don't like the cold either, to be fair. I spent all of yesterday complaining I was cold. So many times. There are many times where I'm just standing in London like this, and then like Camilla or her mum would be like, "Are you alright?" But yeah, I'm fucking cold. It's not getting any warmer.
I like the cold, providing it's in a manner that doesn't affect my hands or feet. I don't mind the rest of me being cold.
I don't understand what kind of cold would not affect your hand.
Not completely freezing. Or if you're cold inside, it doesn't tend to do your hands or feet.
No, you're right, because you don't get like a wind chill that way. Yeah.
You don't get a wind chill, you're not touching anything that's cold. And
other than my heart.
I was about to say verbatim.
Same person.
The exact same thing. But yeah, plus inside you can get socks. Big old socks.
You can wear socks outside.
No, I know, but then like you're in the elements. You might stand in a cold puddle. If you're in a snowy place. I like the cold, but fuck snow. Oh. There you go. That's pretty much what Extreme Sports just said. Yeah, snow is the worst.
I like snow.
It's alright. It's nice to look at.
Yeah.
But if you have to go outside,
I wouldn't go in it.
Yeah. If you have to go outside in it, it goes from being very nice to fuck off.
Snow is nice to look at
from afar.
If you wake up early enough.
Oh yes, and it hasn't been destroyed.
Because otherwise, what you do is you wake up and you just see disaster snow, mush, brown crap, and it's horrible.
You know, I always say people how to forget. People how to forget. People forget how to drive.
Oh, people
in
just
the
don't.
Rain.
People just don't know how to drive.
People in the snow. My God, you would just assume the entire planet got simultaneous head injuries, and you were out, and you were just out that day. It's fucking hell. People driving in general, yes, but rain is worse. Snow is worse. Oh my God. It's not as bad now, but I also, this was very funny. I used to live at the bottom of 2 hills.
You're kind of at the bottom of a hill.
I'm in the middle of a hill.
Oh, you're in the middle of a hill now. Yeah.
I need to go down it.
Yeah.
But I lived at the bottom.
I remember.
Of 2
I
hills.
remember that place. Yeah.
So when it was snowing, it was nah.
Yeah, no, I do remember.
I remember. I was obviously, as most people do, still need to work when it snows. But I worked with someone who had a Land Rover.
Jack's not doing well this
a
evening.
Land
is he?
Rover, and
Bless
they
him.
had to come and get me every day because I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out of my house.
I'm not surprised. I remember those hills. There was no way you're getting out of those.
No. And it was very funny watching people try.
I can imagine.
Or people coming down them a bit too quick.
Yeah.
And then, because they do kind of, one of them, so the one to the right of where I lived, kind of, if you're coming from the top of it, it kind of comes out of nowhere. It's just suddenly hill. The only indication of it is things in the distance are slightly lower down from you. But for all, that could be a steady decline. But no, it's sheer down, sheer up.
Right.
So the things you're seeing are just slightly back up again. But it was very funny watching someone come down, realise, brake, come down sideways. That was entertaining. Sometimes I would just sit outside.
I remember I was I wasn't driving myself. I was a kid at the time, but I was with my car. No, with my dad in his car, driving. Help me! I was with my dad driving back from London one night after a gig. We had played a gig in London, and it was snowing by the time we left the gig. And the M25 was carnage. Yep. And I remember in particular there was a Lexus going sideways down the M25. It was hilarious.
Snow is chaos. I hate snow. I just hate being in it because you either got people who can't drive, people who are driving sideways, or some child cunt who's throwing it at you.
That was me. I was the child cunt for a while.
I remember in school there was steps down to English block and there was a wall and bush here, so you can't see anything that's on the other side. Walking down those steps, just comes this snowball, clocks me right in the eye. But what it actually was just ice covered in snow.
Yeah, that's awful.
So that absolutely clobbered me in the eye. But what was great...
Which is why Jack is actually deceased. Why are we like so...
I don't know. But I remember... Did you just try and move me?
Oh dear.
I remember that it hit me in the eye and I was like, that hurt, but didn't really think much of it. Continued to my English lesson.
Yep.
Had the teacher be like, the fuck happened? And I was like, what? They're like, your eye. I'm like, what? Like, you know when you're younger, you're fine until someone else starts panicking. But apparently it was all like, bleh. So I went to the school nurse who was just like, you should probably go home. And then by the time my mum got there, it was fine.
Oh, that sounds about right. Yeah. And then your mum was probably like, "What the fuck's all this about?"
To be fair, yeah. And I was just like, "Oh, cool. If I'm fine now and just get to go home." This was like lesson 2 of the day.
Oh yeah, you've won.
I've won.
All
it took was a mild impact to the face. But I was just like,
I had a snow day at school on my birthday once.
oh.
That was cracking.
If that happens to me, there are bigger problems.
Yeah, much bigger problems.
Snow day in the height of summer.
But that was cracking, I remember.
Technically, I found out that I don't have a summer birthday. Outrageous.
I disagree. Your birthday's in the middle of June. I'd argue that's
yes,
summer.
but if you look at it, technically, it doesn't start till like the 28th.
Well, fuck technicalities.
I agree.
We don't care about technicalities
because
here
it's
at
only
Rabbit
been
Hole.
winter for about 4 days, according to the
Really?
technicalities.
Bullshit.
Yeah, because November and Thanksgiving are fall holidays.
Bullshit.
Anyway,
we don't do Thanksgiving in the UK, therefore it doesn't count. It's winter here.
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, why not? You get different seasons in different locations. It's not winter in America.
They're just the opposite.
Not America, idiot. Australia.
No, but that's because it's summer. They're in a different hemisphere. We're in the same hemisphere as
But
America.
we're slightly adjacent. We're on a different time zone, so why can't we be in a different season zone? Come on, there's logic to that.
What date does winter start?
Why are we still doing this?
Winter begins on the 21st of December.
So it's still not winter.
What?
So, of course, the winter solstice. That's the...
Still.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about Thor.
Oh, are we?
believe it or
Oh, we
not.
should do that.
Believe it or not, we're here to talk about bleached eyebrows himself, Thor Odinson.
It's really annoying. I was going to make a joke about his bleached eyebrows, but it's kind of
I've
ruined
done it now.
Yeah, you've ruined the opportunity. So
You can do it again.
No, I can't.
You
can't.
can.
I can't.
You can.
It doesn't work. The setup doesn't work. It's happened. You've missed it all. You've all missed my comedy.
Release date. Released on the 20th. Release date. Released. Fuck's sake, we're having a day. Released on the 27th of April, 2011. A long time ago.
Wow, really? I didn't realize it was that close to Avengers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because there was nothing in 2009. In 2010 was Iron Man 2. And this and Cap were like 2 months apart.
Okay.
So 27th of 11th, 2011, with a budget of $150 million estimated.
Many dollars.
Many dollars. And a worldwide gross of $449,326,618 US, obviously. I still can't get over the fact that it's still not winter. My toes beg to differ. Yes. What are your overall thoughts on Thor?
My thoughts are you should go first.
Oh, lordy. I think this movie's all right. I think it's particularly quaint from what we know now. Obviously, within the world of Thor, it was treading very lightly. It was very clearly trying to lean more into this Shakespearean nature, which is odd considering it's Norse mythology and it's got nothing to do with Shakespeare and all this, that, and the other. But here we go. They even got a more Shakespearean director in Kenneth Branagh. One of the only things he's ever done that he hasn't forced himself into.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's not in it somewhere.
No, I'm surprised he's not Odin.
Yeah.
Or something stupid. Well, I'm glad he's not, because I'm not a huge fan of Kenneth Branagh, to be fair.
I have very little opinion on Kenneth Branagh. I'll tolerate him. I don't mind him. I don't care either which way.
It depends. I think he thinks he's better than he is the problem.
I definitely get that from him. Yeah. Definitely get that from him.
Don't necessarily think, but because he's always like.
See, I think that's why he suits the Gilderoy Lockhart character.
Gilderoy Lockhart, I don't, but he's one of the ones.
Yeah,
that's
but
one of the roles that I'm just like, this is fine.
But I think he suits it because
He
has that arrogance. He thinks he's better than what it is.
He's also doing his correct accent.
Yeah, that's true.
In every other film I've seen him in, he's either French or Russian and bad at both. So, like, just don't stop acting. Stick to directing. Some people only have one talent. It's fine. Maybe you're great at ping pong. Who knows? But yeah, it was this Shakespearean thing. Obviously, the first dive into, and obviously this is for the time. This is particularly weird for a superhero movie
To dive into Norse stuff.
Well, not even Norse stuff. Just this side of Marvel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And this side of superhero worlds hadn't really been touched or anything like that at all. Whereas Iron Man was obviously kind of the first of its kind, but we had Batman and things like that, so we had similar sort of premises. And obviously Iron Man 2 and Hulk, we had a Hulk.
Yeah, I guess
before,
all the like
Iron Man
proper
2 was just a
superhero, like mainstream superhero movie stuff we had were
They'd
rich
been done.
people, or they were people that had mutated in one way or another.
So there was a very traditional, or they were an alien, but that's Superman. But they're more traditional superheroes. They're done very well, but they're more traditional versions of superheroes. So this is a bit out there.
Yeah, well, I feel like
for the time,
as a plot, it doesn't really feel like a superhero movie either, because it's not really an end of the world, save the world plot. It's a personal story. It's about more about saving Asgard than anything.
Yeah.
Which it's a different take, and it's a personal story and a character study. It is a character study again, which is when I keep saying I think Marvel's
kind
the
of part
best.
of the Shakespearean side of it.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
But I keep saying I think Marvel and the MCU is its best when it's doing like proper character work, and this does it. It's weird. My memory of this film has always been tame and not really like one of my favorites, but I watched it the other day and I had a really good time.
I enjoyed it. I've always thought it was quite funny.
There is some funny stuff in there.
I've always thought that it doesn't try and be funny too often, which is good, because when it does, it really fucking lands.
Yeah, but it's not.
To this day, I will walk into a room and go, "I need a horse."
Yes. But it's. I feel like it's because the humor it's using isn't really like typical gags.
No, it's fish out of water.
Yeah.
Stuff,
or
like,
it's real world slapstick stuff and scenario based things.
It's largely just most of the comedy comes from Thor having no idea how to operate on Earth, and you can kind of see how they got to Ragnarok Thor a little bit But
Yeah, no, I think the arc of Ragnarok Thor makes perfect sense. Love and Thunder Thor we'll talk about at a different time.
that's because that's just pushed too far.
And I don't know if the fact that I don't like what they've done with Love and Thunder Thor made me appreciate this Thor more.
Possibly, yeah.
Because I haven't seen it for a while, but when I watched it the other day, I honestly had a really, really good time with it. I thought his eyebrows are ridiculous, but
That'll be in like 30 weeks.
But I think it's generally quite an interesting plot. I think there's some good character stuff. I think it really does a really good job of introducing you to these characters and introducing you to this world and making it fit within the universe it's building without you going, well, what? Like, even when it came out, I don't ever remember going, oh, well, great, now there's like some fucking aliens that are actually got... Like, everything just made sense. It was like, cool, and they explain everything well in the way they need to. They reveal, like... There are little things like... There's a point when Thor and his warrior mates, I can't remember the name, Lady Sif and the Warriors 3, whatever it is.
Oh, God. There's like Volstagg.
Isn't there like a name of the group of them?
The Warriors 3.
Oh, it's just the Warriors 3. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Lady Sif and the Warriors 3, that's the name of the group. But there's like Volstagg.
But there's a bit where he's talking to them, and they mention like some realms. Like they mention like Jotunheim, Alfheim, and then go Earth. It's not like a trip to Earth, brother, where you can be... It's like, why would you say Earth? In their context, they wouldn't say Earth.
No,
they'd say Midgard.
Yeah.
And then later on...
It's not Shazam yet.
And then later on in the film, he only refers to it as Midgard. So it was like they clearly did it as a...
The same person, or do you mean Thor?
Thor.
Thor only refers to it, but
Yeah,
it's not
but
Thor that says...
Still, it just felt weird, though, that you suddenly be mentioned there as Earth, and then later on you're only hearing it referred to really as Midgard, unless they're translating. So there's a point where he's like, when he's explaining the cosmos to Jane. And
Midgard, which is Earth.
Yeah.
Is what, yeah.
And it was weird. It was almost like they put that line in of when the other dude's calling it Earth just so we weren't confused. Go, what's Midgard? Even though they explain it later anyway. And I actually think it would have been better if they just had him say Midgard, which would have made sense contextually.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we get that little reveal. I mean, not really a reveal, but for those that are the lesser educated and don't know, because not everyone would have known. This was my first foray into Norse mythology. I wouldn't have known it at the time.
Completely wrong, but...
Yeah, but well, it's based in a certain amount of stuff. Midgard is Earth.
Oh, yeah.
There's...
I mean, like,
Yeah. Like, but that was my point is that was my first foray into any Norse mythology at all. I wouldn't have known anything about any of this stuff prior to these films.
Did you notice? When he's just like, these are all the 9 realms and starts naming them, he names like 5.
3. Yeah. That. And then
and then he just goes, and Asgard.
Yeah, he's like, Midgard,
Where's
which is
Where's
Earth.
Niflheim? He says Svartalfheim, I think.
No, it's...
So Midgard,
It's Midgard.
Vanaheim, Jotunheim.
I don't think he even says...
Because he says the Heims.
He says...
Vanaheim,
He doesn't say all of them,
Jotunheim.
'cause he doesn't say Helheim.
No, he doesn't say Helheim, but that's probably a bit much.
I'm pretty sure he
Vanaheim,
says...
Jotunheim.
I thought it was just Jotunheim, Alfheim, and Asgard.
I might say Alfheim, yeah. I forgot about Alfheim.
I think that's all he says.
Midgard, which is
But he
Earth,
definitely
Alfheim.
says in a way as if he's listed all of them.
All
He's
of
like,
them.
you've said 3 things.
Yeah, you've missed more than half. You've missed Helheim. Probably Vanaheim. You've missed Svartalfheim. Or Svartalfheim. I didn't realise Zachary Levi was only in the second film. Third film, as well. Just very briefly, he gets stabbed with a sword.
He does.
Not a sword, a sword. A sword.
As I said, I think they do a really, really good job of just bringing that part of the universe into the universe they're building and making it make sense. I also think I never realised it at the time, to be honest, because I wasn't thinking about it the same way. But Coulson's great.
Coulson's excellent.
Coulson is excellent.
I love
so
Coulson.
good.
And I actually think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has just given me a higher appreciation.
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
Coulson,
I think going back and watching these films now after knowing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how much time I've spent with that character then, it's like clearly, I know this sounds stupid, but you know what I mean. It's clearly the same character. Like, it's not like it doesn't feel like a different version of Coulson or anything like that. It's like they've just got him pegged of what this character's like in these films, and then they carried that into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that feels...
The MCU's biggest crime is removing Coulson from the
Agreed.
film so early. I think that's... Why have we got Maria fucking Hill, plain white bread of a character?
I understand why. The whole point is kill Coulson to bring the team together. It's killing the family dog.
Kill Maria Hill.
I get that, but Maria Hill's not the family dog. No one cares for Maria Hill.
We haven't really seen most of
Maria
them
Hill is
interact.
the hamster they bought before they could afford the dog.
But we hadn't seen all of the characters even interact with Coulson.
No, that's true.
So, like... And
That is true.
So it doesn't really matter.
But he is good. I do like him.
I agree.
I like his interrogation scene with Thor. And then when Thor talks to Loki and just says goodbye as he comes back to the room, just a goodbye. When he just got back. That's really good. I really like it.
Excellent. I also just like the, I don't know, that man never tells me anything when asking if the Destroyer is one of Stark's. We've clearly fallen into spoilers. This movie came out 11 years ago.
Yeah, I've decided for these were just spoilers from the beginning.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So I thoroughly enjoy Coulson. And then if you haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a lot of people poo-poo it and poo on it.
Shouldn't do.
But you shouldn't do. It's great. There's some dud stuff, but...
It's an American TV drama at the end of the day,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
going to be some dud bits.
But it's great. The version of Ghost Rider in that show is the version I want them to use in the movies with the same actor, who we will see...
Oh, that reminds me. Hang on.
in The
Keep
Last of
talking.
Us. Next month, we will see him strut his stuff in The Last of Us.
You probably can't read that.
Oh. We'll figure that out in a minute.
Okay.
As we get to the end. Some of my favourite characters, and yours as well, are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out of the whole MCU and MCU adjacent. They have fucked some stuff in the MCU proper, which means it kind of doesn't make sense as canon. But at the same time, they talk about all the stuff that's happening in the movies that correspond with the stuff
Well,
that's
they
in the
do.
show.
The end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has some stuff with quantum time travel stuff.
Quantum time travel, and
which I think means
they
you can,
talk about the blip.
Yeah.
Or, well, they talk about the fact that Thanos
is attacking.
invaded Wakanda.
Yeah.
And they talk about the fact
But I think that means that you can. There's a few kind of weird canonical things that
it can
don't
just
add
go a
up.
different way. Yeah,
You can just go with some timeline bollocks.
yeah, because they have the Darkhold
Yeah.
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a different book, like visibly a different book. You could do it's a magic book. You could do all sorts of nonsense to make that make sense, but also things. I had one in my head. Oh, Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Bobby, Mockingbird, in Hawkeye. Obviously, the watch belongs to Agent 13, Hawkeye's wife, which is Mockingbird.
Oh, I see.
Was it Agent 13? Agent something.
Again, that's easily.
Yeah, you can just say, it doesn't say Mockingbird on it, it just
Yeah.
says it, so you can do whatever. But I thoroughly would like Coulson to start coming back into movies. I would like Daisy to start being in movies.
I would like all of the
I would
Agents
like
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Fitzsimmons. To be fair, I'd be happy if they stopped with Coulson, Daisy, and Fitzsimmons. But I'd also be happy to get Mac back.
I'd love to get Mac back.
With a shotgun axe. I would love Bobby's ex-husband. Why can't I remember his name? Because I thoroughly enjoyed
I want
him.
to say
The
Riley.
British one.
My brain's saying Riley.
Don't think is it Riley? Might be Riley.
I'm gonna Google it. We're talking about a different show now, but
Is Chris's notebook a copy of the Darkhold? No, well, with some of the stuff we've written each other in there.
yeah, and
probably.
some of the drawings. Good lord. Let's see.
I don't think he is Riley. I think something in that vein.
Deke's the other one.
Deke is the Star-Lord knockoff.
Yeah.
That's some nice time travel shit.
Enoch. Why isn't he on here?
He must be. Must be.
I must have just scrolled past him and I'm forgetting which one he is. Alright, now I'm just confused.
Lance Hunter.
Oh, yeah, got him. I just scrolled past him like an idiot.
It's because his picture doesn't look anything like him, to be fair, because
Yeah.
it's from about 80 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just our recommendation. It's all on Disney Plus now, obviously.
It's
and
real
has
good.
been since launch, obviously.
Yep.
But I do recommend Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even if it's just something you watch an episode or two of every now and then. Because it's fun to go, like, oh, this is what's happening. Considering...
I think, to me, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one that... Cause it was for us. You go, I'll put this on as an episode 2 every now and then. And then suddenly, it's like,
I'm watching
this
this
is all that... Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of it, like...
A
couple of
It
seasons...
takes a season or two to
Yeah.
properly get...
It's 'cause
It's enjoyable stuff, but it takes a season.
It's a couple of seasons in, it suddenly ramps up the gear of like story writing, and I think it just gets really fucking good.
Because it does kind of start as Monster of the Week. Enjoyable,
Yeah.
but Monster of the Week. In the same way all these shows do. That's how Supernatural started, and then that became a fucking thing, where they have a sit-down conversation with God in a diner.
I mean, personally, I really enjoyed the whole Grant Ward thing.
Yeah.
Great set
Yeah.
of story arcs.
Freya.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Freyr.
Freyr. Yeah,
Freyr.
that's a different
not
conversation
Freya.
for a different show.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think you can bring him back. They've done it too many times.
For sure.
Spoilers. But, yeah. Here is your recommendation for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Anyways,
back
Thor.
to Thor. I think a really smart decision that they made, given that it's a fantastical, otherworldly, alien, technically other realms, gods, and deities kind of film, is that the plot is super simple.
Yep.
I think that
it's a simple,
was a wise decision because it's something you're not going to get lost in the plot. Everything they give you is new and obviously outlandish and exciting, but the plot and the thing that's happening and then what's happening to the characters, who the characters are, is all very simple and straightforward. So you're still in the entire time.
It's because the basis of the plot is just really a simple brother story and a family story and a revenge story.
Kind of a revenge story, yeah. I think I abandoned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before the writing ramped up. Yeah, probably. I will admit it takes a season or two, but it's worth it.
What I like about the plot of
Are we just
Thor,
gonna do a show about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
at some
I think we
point,
should.
I mean, it seems to be what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think what I like about the plot of Thor is kind of like it's almost a slow reveal as to who the real villain is as well, or the real antagonist. He's not really a villain, but the antagonist of the plot is. It's kind of, it makes out from the beginning that it's going to be all about
Laufey.
Laufey and the Jotunheim and stuff, but it's like the first proper realization we get is when Loki is talking to Thor in the prison cell thing, like in the holding cell.
Yeah, and he lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the first kind of real glimpse into it we start to see. Because I think even the conversation that he has with Sif of like, I can't make that decision. My first decision as a ruler can't be to undo the last decision of my father. Like, that's a fair argument, to be fair. So I think that even that comes along as a bit genuine in a way. There's a bit of sus, but it's like...
Ruthless, but
yeah,
genuine,
yeah. And then you just start getting these little glimpses of it. It's like, he's clearly just told him something totally different to what we know. And then when you get that call later on of just the callbacks and go back and seeing that, yeah, he's totally lied to him. It's like, okay, fuck, he's the bad guy. And I think that's a great little twist. And I think a twist, and a lot of these character arcs are things at this point we now take for granted because we've had so much time with these characters. Thor and Loki in particular, we've had a lot of time with. We've had four Thor films. 4
Avengers movies, which heavily feature Thor
yeah,
as well.
but like we haven't had 4 of any of the other character movies.
No.
We've had 4 of them. And okay, yeah, Loki wasn't in the 4th Thor, but we've then had a series of Loki as well. Again, he's saying he's had good time in the Avengers movies, like a lot of time on screen in the Avengers movies. Thor turns up in quite a few places and it becomes quite a prominent character in these things as well. So I think a lot of it we take for granted. And I do think that Thor and Loki's character arcs over the course of the MCU is the best and most interesting. I've said that for a while, and I do firmly believe that. Whether or not they've made some mistakes towards the latter half of it is a different situation. Doesn't change that up to a point at least, they had the best overall character arc, I think.
I can agree with Thor. This is just personal preference, obviously. I don't agree with Loki because I think it's the same in every movie.
Well, I think the problem with Loki is that they did a couple of jump backs and they got to a point, I would say, by Ragnarok into Infinity War, where I think they'd found a sweet spot for him, and then they immediately undid it with his series, which I think is where they've made the mistakes.
Yeah, but I think his plot progression in Dark World is essentially the same as it is in Loki, but just flipped more.
To be fair, I don't really remember Dark World, but also Dark World I think is a terrible movie.
And then it's not terrible. It's fine. It's obviously just Avengers. It's on the absolute most scale it could be from the end of this movie. Then it kind of just reverses in Dark World. Then it's really just up and down all over the place throughout the same thing in Ragnarok, and then he's killed. Again. For the third time. And then, they just undo it all with Loki, with the show. So it's a bit like, I don't necessarily agree. I actually think it's one of the least interesting. Not least interesting. There are several characters I'm just like, ugh.
Let me rephrase then in a way that I think still supports my argument, even if it's not been done well. Has had the most stuff. He's had a lot of time. So, but either way, it just means I think going back to this early stuff of when this setting, this is the first time with the character. So I think it just means you take all these setups and what we know of these characters, particularly Thor, to be fair. That is my main emphasis, completely for granted by this point. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, no, I don't. Loki only has 2 states in movies: dying or stealing the Tesseract.
If you think with Thor in particular, at the beginning of this film, he is childish, boyish, boisterous, and the whole point of this film is for him to becoming worthy of the power of Thor. That's the whole point of this film and his character arc, is he has to become worthy, which he does by almost Odin's plan all along. It is, take his power away, banish him, make him have to work for it and work it out. That's how he'll learn. And so he gets backhanded by a giant robot who does some cool twisty shit.
At first, yesterday, I was like, it's a bit odd that he that killed him, but I was like, no, that would probably kill me as well. That's fair.
Yeah. Because he's mortal by this point.
He's mortal. Yeah. He's mortal at that point. That's what hadn't really registered, despite the fact that's the entire point.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the stuff I've seen Thor take, that's no.
But then I think this is the only film where we're seeing him have to really become Thor. It's almost an origin movie for Thor. But
it was a clever way of doing an origin movie, despite that, considering Thor is born as Thor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then every other time we see Thor, we see him as Thor and just progressing more and more and more and going through different states of his character. So I think just this early stuff and this adaptation into how we know Thor, you just kind of take for granted. And going back and looking at it, I think it's really good. I think it's really good him seeing him building that relationship with Jane and working everything out and just becoming who he needs to be. And I think they do a really good job of it. It's almost a coming of age thing, and I enjoy it.
For sure, yeah. I will agree. Thor up until Endgame is the best.
Yes.
Arc. I think, including Endgame and Love and Thunder, I think they fucked it.
Yep, I agree. Endgame is where I think they
begun to fuck it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like Thor in Endgame. I didn't like Fat Thor or anything like that.
That's
I think that played off. I think they just played off the most serious topic they've picked up. They played it off for laughs, and it's also a really, because you can do it. I'm not saying like don't make jokes about this stuff. I'm not that type of person. You can probably tell by the types of jokes I've made, but they just don't do it well. They're just poking fun at something that is genuinely quite serious, and it's just like, if you're gonna do it comedically, do it well, but they don't.
See, I like...
But that's not this film.
I think end of Infinity War and what they're doing with him there.
What he does, where he is in Infinity War is excellent.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of Endgame, and then they just play it off for laughs.
Yeah.
They're playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Drinking beer and eating ice cream all the time.
And I get what they were trying to do. I get they were going for, but I think they went...
where they went. I hate how they went there.
Yeah, exactly what I agree with. And then past that, I just hate what they did.
Oh, no, I agree. They ruined one of the best characters. We'll get there. We keep doing
I think they're going to fix that.
So
Based off what I've seen Chris Hemsworth
has said, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine his contract is very much over at this point, so he's just going to be like, get rid of Watiti.
Yeah, I imagine he's contracted out, but very much with he said he'll
do more.
He'll do more, and the way they've got him with Thor just won't disappear. Like, that's not going to make sense. They're going to have to write Thor out, so we will see more of him as Thor, even if it's only one more movie.
Yeah. I think the only way you can get rid of Thor that makes any sense is kill him.
Yeah, to be fair, I think they'll keep hold of him until the
Avengers.
Final Avengers movies.
And then he'll be the one that dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we'll get. I reckon we'll get a Thor 5.
It's far too predictable.
I reckon we'll get a Thor 5, and then that'll be his close somehow. They might not kill him, but
yeah, I don't even know if we'll get a Thor 5. Maybe we'll just come back. Who knows? We don't know anything. Neither do Marvel, by the seams of it.
No, that is exactly that is true.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But no, I really like this movie. I think you can kind of see where they wanted to go as well, and kind of fumbled it with Dark World. But you can see what they were trying to do and what they wanted to set up in terms of Jane Foster. I don't think it was ever ever intended that she would disappear for as long as she
No,
did.
yeah, that wasn't the plan. Well, because it was Natalie Portman dropped out doing stuff, didn't she?
Yeah, and a big part of it was just because Thor: The Dark World was one of the first MCU movies to have some proper issues with
Production issues, yeah.
Because it was meant to be directed by Patty Jenkins, who backed out because of creative differences and what have you. And considering, I actually think that was probably a good thing, considering the movies she has since made, which are both the Wonder Woman movies. First one was all right, probably the only one where you could say, probably one of the very few DC movies you could actually say is good. The second one is probably one of the worst DC movies that they've ever made. So I'm glad we don't have her doing Thor, but obviously Natalie Portman is one of those people who likes working with female directors. That's kind of one of the reasons because this movie, we're at a point where they're not contracted for shit.
No,
really.
no, yeah.
At this point, probably contracted for like 2 or whatever it was. Maybe more, a couple more.
Well, I imagine the main leads were contracted in to get to Avengers.
Yeah. So
supporting characters, probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So obviously she just backed out after Dark World, and which is fair enough. They managed to write around it well, but yeah.
I actually think it worked. It served Thor better. I think it
As a
allowed
character,
Thor's
I
character
agree,
progression better.
I feel like you probably could have done that maybe slightly better if she was around to show that, as opposed to it being an off-screen progression. But I still don't think you lost much from that. But also sets up Eric Selvig, who obviously plays a reasonably decent part going forward, and he plays a big part in Avengers and all this, that, and the other. So it's kind of a film with a lot of tidbits of what's to come, specifically around
this phase
Thor.
Phase 1 thing so far has been like going back and just being reminded of how they were setting up all this stuff for Avengers.
For sure, yeah. And
really
I
good.
think some of it is a bit too... I was saying last week on
some of it's on the nose.
How I think a lot of Iron Man 2's setups were a bit heavy-handed. But things like in the first Iron Man with Next Time, Baby, for War Machine, and in this one, just the characters that are there that you don't know is not an obvious tease, but you know it's going to be...
Big fan of Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's great.
He's hardly in this, and he's excellent.
Why do people hate on Hawkeye?
I don't know.
We keep having this conversation.
I don't know. He's only in this for like 20 seconds.
And he's great.
He just says a couple of witty lines, and it's excellent.
It's great. Fine. People base that opinion largely on the first Avengers movie.
I think he's great in the first Avengers movie.
Not for 3/4 of it, just because he's a drone. A mindless drone. Useless, doesn't say anything witty, he just reads.
Yeah, but then he turns up at the end and kicks ass.
Agreed!
And that's cool.
I agree. No way he would have grabbed that gun. Yeah, I know, but that's a stupid tease. I don't like that either. We would go for the gun first and then go for the bow. But
Oh, I see, yeah.
But that's just them being coy. Because fuck knows how this is going to go. They don't know that they're going to get...
I think Hawkeye's great. I love Hawkeye.
Yeah, I think he's excellent.
I cannot wait for Age of Ultron so I can just talk about Hawkeye.
That is his movie.
Yep.
100%, I agree. I also have so many... I love Age of Ultron.
I like Age of Ultron.
People seem to hate that
I know,
movie.
but I'm with you. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, I agree. In some ways, I actually think it surpasses the first Avengers movie.
We'll do that when we get to it.
That's not that far
We're
away.
getting so far ahead of ourselves. It's unreal.
Because we know what's happening. This is the problem of we know why we like the things of the past and how they connect. So it's really easy to just get lost.
Especially at this point, which is just all the setups. So we're talking about the setup movies, which then make us think of
what they've set up.
Yeah.
I will say, this one quite clearly had a lower budget.
Yes.
I was just like, oh. And they spent all of it on Asgard.
It shows.
That tornado little fight? I was like, I think I made that in Premiere Pro.
I wasn't overly impressed at how Asgard looked, to be fair. I was like,
Asgard looked great until they green screen people onto it. There were some of those really weird shots where they did tiny Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Too many Toms. Too many Tom H's. Hardy, Hiddleston, Holland. Fuck off. Why don't you change your name? You can be Marty, Whittleston, and Holland.
We've got another Tom that started at the shop, which makes for like the the 5th Tom that works there or something
Stop hiring
ridiculous.
Toms.
The weirdest thing about it. So hang on, there's
Maybe don't tell everyone all of it.
No. So there's been 5 Toms that's worked there since I've been there. One of them has since left. 4 of those 5 Toms also used to work for B&Q.
What is happening?
It's just weird, isn't it? Totally weird.
That's not a logical career path. Either.
No, I know. But apparently a common one.
Get shaped into guitars. We'll go there.
I don't think anyone gets a job at B&Q because they like wood.
No one gets a job anywhere because they like wood, except maybe porn.
Beat me by just a second. Where does the water from the waterfall in Asgard go to?
Space.
Yes, space water. So Asgard.
My more thing is because of how they've set about how does Asgard have a daytime?
Never thought about that. I don't think Asgard did look great. I think it probably looked great by the time, but a lot of it now I was like,
I think
that looks a bit poor.
It doesn't look incredible, but I think it looks good. The problem is when they start putting the people
That
in it.
really then shows it up. Yeah.
The one in particular was when the Warriors 3 first activate the Bifrost, and then Tom Hiddleston does a very dramatic turnaround and just it's a wide shot of him walking away. So it's just a tiny little Tom Hiddleston, just clearly like not shot in 3D space.
Yep.
To as much as that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and then put into this complete 3D model, like deep into, and just walking through. It just looked so fucking weird. And the horses,
Yes.
along the Rainbow Bridge, I've always thought that looks weird. I have particular issues with the movie next week in terms of effect and the way things look as well, because they just look fucking weird. But yeah, I think that they just look particularly strange.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange indeed.
Yeah, fair enough. I do like, obviously, it starts to set up Thor's fighting style as well, mainly in the early thing where he goes to Jotunheim, and I really like that sort of fight sequence on Jotunheim.
That's the best action sequence in the game.
It's really cool. Like, a lot of stuff that we see him doing later on, but I love the thing he does where he's just like swinging the hammer on the
strap.
strap.
He spins it really fast.
It's fucking great. And when he like kneels down and he's just like fucking the ice at them with the hammer. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then I love the sound.
The sound
for Mjolnir.
The sound
so
for Mjolnir is
good.
brilliant.
It's like a solid but hollow whack.
Yep.
Twing. And then the sound, and then as he summons it. Oh, the sound design for Mjolnir is fucking top notch.
Yes,
I
it
hope
is.
that person got a raise. I imagine he did.
I did when I heard it.
And just the big giant dog. I'm going to fly straight through its mouth.
Yep.
Excellent. 10 out of 10.
I agree.
That fight was great. They did have the worst CGI in a Marvel movie though when he got impaled by the ice and you see it from the other side. It was clearly just paper mache.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't. It was CG, but it just looked so like just stuck on the back. Like,
Right,
there
okay,
was-
yeah.
It was so fucking. I was just like But then again, I've noticed that since 2011. So
Yeah,
that's
it's the
not
things
new.
you notice it because the visuals get better, and then you go back and look at the older ones, and you suddenly spot.
No, as in like I remember. Like,
Oh, I
the
see.
first couple of times I saw the movie, I was just like, "That's weird."
I see.
But it's the time.
Yeah.
Not everything is perfect. I think it's the lighting on the bit of ice coming out the back doesn't match. That's the main problem. I don't know. As Corridor Crew would always say, like, your eyes are smarter than you are most of the time. It's like you know something's wrong, but you have no idea why. Which is why we have the uncanny valley.
It's exactly what the uncanny valley is. Yeah.
We know something's wrong, but we don't quite know what. I just think this is an all-around good time.
Yeah, great. I had a really, really good time with it. My memories of this were far more negative than when I watched it the other day. And I don't remember it being bad. I just remember it being like particularly, it's fine, it's all right. Yeah. But I honestly had a really, really good time with it watching it the other day. I think it's not too long either or too short. Like it's just around 2 hours.
Yeah, just shy, I think.
But it didn't feel like it rushed anything.
No.
Like it was cool, made sense. It
that was
didn't
another
drag.
benefit to me for it had a very simple story to tell.
Yeah.
You can get in, you can get out, have some good action sequences and some good character moments in there. But then you're like, cool, I'm excited to see what comes next, or I can see this character interacting with the others that we've had so far.
Yep.
Hey, Tim.
Hello. I agree.
But yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed.
Do you want to score it?
You've given it a 10.
Oh, I haven't. I've just pressed the button by accident. I apologise.
See, again, this is where I'm let down by a 10-point scale.
Right.
Because my options are either too high or too low.
Right. Okay. Where was you thinking?
Smack in the middle between 7 and 8.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
And I would have to, because I know there are movies that are better that I would give an 8, I would have to give it a 7.
I was already thinking a 7.
Oh, there we go.
Because seven is by our scale pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't describe this as a bit good, innit? I wouldn't
No,
describe
I wouldn't
it
go
as
as high as an 8. That's why I also think like pretty solid, but I do think it's a little bit better than that. But not by much. But
yes, but we did decide not to do the 100-point scale.
Yes.
For this reason. So
well, in this particular instance, that would have been a massive pain in the ass.
yes.
For multiple reasons, we don't have 100 buttons.
No. We only have the standard size string.
So that would have to be 10 folders.
Yeah.
And just no.
I basically wouldn't have done it.
Yes.
Is the thing.
That's fair.
But,
so 7. This film is pretty solid. Rich's joke number is here. Is here. We don't have much of a ranking, but I would say at this moment in time, God, have we only done 3 of these?
well, you see, we scored.
We gave Iron Man 2 a 6, I think.
I wrote in here. Yeah, we did give Iron Man 2 a 6. So it's got it has to go above Iron Man 2, right? But does it go above Iron Man, which we scored an 8?
No, it
So
does not go above Iron Man. No.
And I'd agree it doesn't. So yeah,
It goes 2. Yeah, it's 2 so far.
well, this will go in second place then. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think this would go at 2. I'd say it's definitely better. For me, it was definitely more enjoyable to rewatch this than Iron Man 2. It's not as good as Iron Man.
I agree.
That's criminal. It's
I
an outrageous statement.
Totally.
And it is definitely not worse than Hulk. So
I totally agree.
So there's that. That bit didn't take as long as I thought it would. I thought there'd be more of a conversation there, but we pretty much
On the
agreed.
same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we agree.
It does. Yeah, I just had a thought that I wish I'd started 4 weeks ago.
What?
Also, it would have been nice to get an audience ranking as well, but it's too late now.
Well, we can ask for a final audience ranking when we get to like episode.
Oh my god,
to the
that would take hours.
What? Would it?
Well, we'd have to see where they put everything, and everyone would have to keep track of what they wanted to put.
Oh, you mean like collate all of their answers to make an overall audience?
Yes, I meant like an audience ranking.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah, no, it's too late now.
Yeah, I think it would. I would have said no anyway. That sounds like a hassle.
We would get 2 responses.
In which case, it sounds like a waste of time.
You've just described Rabbit Hole Media.
A hassle and a waste of time simultaneously. Yeah, that is us. Yeah.
Dear me. I kind of feel like there's no point breaking for it, but or changing it.
No. We'll just stay here.
But we can. I'll do a thing while we're talking. We may as well change that. Oh fuck it, I can't be asked.
Why?
Yeah, I can't be asked. But we'll also, while we're here, won't go on the list, obviously.
I don't think this will be a long conversation.
No, not really.
No.
There's a couple of tidbits that will clearly lead into Guardians 3, and have some questions for the past.
Oh, I haven't watched the trailer yet, by the way.
Oh, no. For Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That's what Chris wrote down earlier.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should just talk about that briefly. I don't think this is going to be as long as a conversation as Werewolf by Night was.
If you've not seen it, go away.
If you haven't, or it doesn't fucking matter. It has no real bearing on anything.
No.
To the point where it doesn't even have a villain. Which, this became a thing, and I don't know what people were expecting.
It's not really like a plot like that, though, is it? It's just a little thing. It's just.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like people were going like the first Marvel movie to not have a villain. I was like, what were you expecting?
Yeah.
It's a Christmas jaunt.
Yeah, it's exactly. It is literally just a Christmas jaunt.
The
That's
villain,
all it
by
is.
the way, is fucking Drax and Mantis.
Yes.
Like if you want a villain, it's Drax and Mantis.
What did you think of this?
I quite liked it.
I had a real good time, man.
Yeah,
like.
I thought it was pretty good.
Bye, Rich.
See you later. I I thought it was quite funny. I thought it was just
I thought it was
quite
hilarious.
I thought it was upbeat and just so many of Drax in particular.
Yes.
I fucking love Drax.
Yes.
Like, I really do. I know I'm pretty down on Guardians 2, but I love Drax. I think he is hilarious.
Honestly,
I thought this was very enjoyable and has my new favourite Christmas song at the beginning.
yes, I thought it was so funny. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I wasn't expecting like a big Marvel thing. This is the weird thing, right? My biggest complaints about some Marvel stuff recently has been like, it just feels out of place. It doesn't feel like it's part of the universe. It's not progressing anything. This is that, but because it didn't pretend otherwise, because it always presented itself to me as just a bit of a
It seems to
jaunt.
be in recent times, your two favourite things have been the Marvel special presentations.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
Werewolf by Night, I remember you really liked as
But
well.
it's because they're not pretending. It's not
for sure.
going, She-Hulk, the next big thing, and then just fucks about. It's like, they were just having a
This
little
is his own
special
thing,
now. It's
yeah,
his own
yeah.
thing. It's just in the work. And
I
I'm
do
fine
think
with
Werewolf
that.
by Night might tie into it more, but in the same way, this
Yeah,
probably
but there's
would as
elements
well,
of this
but-
it will be. So obviously there is the kind of reveal. We are in spoilers here, by the way, so there will be some spoilers. Warning you now. There is the reveal that Mantis is Peter's sister.
Mm-hmm.
We probably could have put two and two together and worked that out. And maybe...
It's not a huge thing.
It's not a huge leap.
We just assumed, or what they implied was that he just housed her.
Yes. Oh, that sounds
on
awful.
It does.
I know
yes,
what you
on
mean, but it doesn't sound good.
She lived on the planet and assisted him
Yeah.
with someone he had met.
I feel
along the
like
way.
though the fact that they've put that in implies to me it might be in some way irrelevant
More
in
important
Guardians
later,
3. So I think it's connected in that sense. But it's just its own little fun little thing that just shined on a couple of characters that we haven't had a huge focus on, because it really was about like Mantis
It's
and
Drax
Drax
and
got the
Max,
big
yeah,
focus. I think it was just great. It just played on the Guardian style humor. It played on it was just fun. It was just a really fun thing, and I really liked it. The bit where they're fucking chasing Kevin Bacon, and there's a bit where like Mantis is like jumping from thing to thing, just with this crazy face, just giggling and making noises. It was proper fucking creepy. So good, because it was kind of like, that's horrifying,
yeah.
but it's funny. It was so good.
The first bit that properly cracked me up, because I got a good giggle leading up to this as well several times, but the first proper I might need to pause this a moment was the just wait. I forgot the strange little man.
The whole thing with the strange little man was
And it
excellent.
just, what's more important, Peter or the strange little man? He goes, or what do you want more, Peter? There's the strange little man. I want the strange little man. Why do you get a little man? This is not a man. And then she asked them, do you see a little man?
It's so funny.
I-
And the Christmas song I thought was excellent.
It's so good.
Like, there was come on, I really
they
didn't
did
while
a
we were watching
genuine
it.
one at the end, and I was
Yeah.
like, meh.
But like, come on, who is this band doing? I was going to look it up. Is it a band we know? And I was like, I don't know, but what I do know is they've written the best Christmas song. Like, this is excellent. And I actually really enjoyed Chris Pratt's kind of ad-libbed reactions to everything. All the way, like, they would sing a line and be like, that's not what they...
No, yeah, that's...
so much of
But you can kind of see like how someone would interpret
absolutely.
stuff like that. I don't know where they got the flamethrower from.
No, but it's
But
fucking
the favorite
funny.
Christmas song
I really enjoyed, they finished the song, and then Star was like, "Are you just got these instruments?" Fucking hilarious. It was really good.
Yeah, I really like that. Especially as it started.
Jack's doing some Googling.
No, I know who sang the one at the end because it was quite clearly Kevin Bacon.
Yes, yeah.
Fucking stupid Google.
If I'm going to insult
The old
someone,
97s.
if I'm going to insult someone going forward, I'm going to start calling them the fucking stupid Google. Don't put that there, you stupid Google.
The old 97s.
Never heard of him then, but it was great. My favourite gag, actually, of the entire thing, a subtle one, not very subtle, but a little gag, I just fucking loved it, was when they're giving some presents at the end, and Nebula gives Rocket Bucky's arm.
Yep.
I was like, when the fuck did she get that?
Yeah, for sure. I was just like, that's going to be one of those things of that will never come up again.
Yeah, and it doesn't need
to make
to,
sense. Yeah, there doesn't need to be an explanation. I do think a little short on Disney Plus of how that happened would be quite
Yeah.
funny, but like it doesn't need to come up. It's probably not actually happened. Bucky isn't missing his arm.
Yeah.
But
He probably has spares.
oh, I imagine so. But no, I thought that was very funny as well. I got a good crack when Groot handed out all these like dioramas. And
Oh,
the one
and
he
Kraglin.
gives to Kraglin was sitting there with a diorama of Kraglin sitting there with a diorama doing the exact,
Of Kraglin sitting there. It's like this
doing
infinite.
the exact same face. Oh, that was so good.
Yep.
So good.
I also really liked when he unwraps Kevin Bacon and he's trying to calm him down, and then he just breaks off to be like, "What do you mean you didn't think this was a good idea all along? You just willed him out here in front of everyone." I like Guardians. I know you're not so keen on Guardians too, but I like
But
the
that's not because of the characters.
Yeah, I like the dynamics of the characters. I think all of them play off each other so well, and I do think James Gunn has done a really good job with those characters.
I agree. I do think.
And this kind of like it doubled down on all those little relationships and the way they are together, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. It was just a fun thing.
Yeah, and this is probably the most I've ever liked Mantis. Like, I think she's been pretty. Whatever.
Yeah, at first, like I was like, "Oh,
Didn't
are they
like her
going
at
in?"
all in
Well, but even on
Guardians 2,
at first on this, I was like, "Are they going in too hard on her, trying to make her goofy?" But like, actually, quite quickly, I was like, "No, they're not. It didn't." Like when she first started with some of her gag stuff when they were on Earth, some of it are just like, "Oh, are they going in on the real goofy thing again?" But it didn't. It just didn't go that way. It just felt about right. And I think any of the humor on this still would have felt like it would have worked in a main Guardians film. Like for the most part, it didn't go so far crazy where it was like, okay, now it's just silly. It just kind of worked.
I think it was just slightly emphasized for a Christmas movie type thing, but not really. Hannah says I like the Guardians so much more without Gamora. I agree. Gamora's boring. Straight up fucking boring.
I have no issues with Gamora. I don't like Nebula.
I don't like Nebula either.
I think she's boring. I don't mind Gamora so
I
much,
think both
but I
those
don't
sisters
like
are
Nebula.
boring. Gesundheit.
Particularly annoying because I really like Karen Gillan. I think she's great.
I think she's utterly wasted.
Yeah.
Utterly wasted by the fact that A, they cover her face, and B, she has to put on an accent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just talk Scottish, love.
Yeah, exactly. Like, please. But yeah, they just because she's so much more energetic and bubbly.
Yeah.
And they just give her the most boring.
I do think she's the best Doctor Who companion. I know you don't like Doctor Who, but I think she's the best Doctor Who companion. So.
Can neither confirm nor deny. But given that, given what I've seen Karen Gillan in, I don't disbelieve it. But yes, to Gamora and Nebula, you're boring.
You could have just gone with your basic. You missed it.
I could have done. I don't think basic people know how to fuck people up that much, though.
It's true. It's true.
So that's why when...
Fair enough. No, fair enough. There's a good argument.
Gamora took the mild tumble, I was like, oh no.
All right, just for the sake of using the graphic, what would you score?
Oh, it's probably this... You can't just kill people. Just flipping the plate. Oh, I loved this so much. This was really funny. And then... You used your power on him. That kept me up. Don't run. Very predictable, but still. And then on the ship, it's like, he's an actor. And just,
Such a stupid gag, but so funny.
and then, to be fair, the only time Nebula has made me laugh in any movie is just like, so not all actors are pieces of shit. That was so good. That was so good. I will say Nebula has gotten better.
Well, it's because they've given her more of a character.
Yeah, they've given her more to do. But and a bit of growth and development. But yes, over the actual Guardians movie, she's just okay. We get it. You're bald. You're angry. You're blue. Dabba D.
Dabba die. Well, I'm just making an executive decision, by the way, and I think you agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that is a good score. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was a top-tier comedy. This will probably be my go-to every year Christmas thing, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think it'll become a Christmas tradition, yeah.
Yeah, because this is great. I'm also more than happy for Marvel to keep doing more
Absolutely.
weird
I did enjoy... Did you see the post...
holiday stuff.
Did you see the post-credit scene?
Yeah, remind me.
I
remember there being
Groot's trying to be like a Christmas tree and like drop the stuff,
yeah.
whatever. And Groot's like, great, now we'd have to come back and do another special.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yep, by all means. Or even if they don't do Guardians, they just do a different holiday. I'd be...
Well, Camilla said, because obviously Kevin Bacon, when he leaves, is like, I'll see you at Easter. And she was like, do you reckon they'll do an Easter one? I was like, maybe. They've done
They
a
might do.
Halloween
They've
one,
done
they've done a
Halloween,
Christmas
yeah.
one. Maybe they'll do an Easter one.
Yeah, I'm all for this weird annual just little tidbit that might pay off later. Like I reckon, I don't think you would introduce Man-Thing for no reason.
Yeah.
So and especially when you can see the supernatural stuff is being added. So I do think it will come back, but I'm more than happy to get like holiday specials as it goes through. Because so far they have both been bloody good.
Agreed.
I think
Totally
Werewolf by Night and this have been really good, and I like the fact it's the short, the one-off. Like this did not outstay its welcome at all, and Werewolf by Night was a little bit longer, but didn't
outstay its welcome. Yeah.
And I think this is great. And since Werewolf by Night has come out, there's been rumblings that a couple of the shows that they had planned have been turned into special presentations.
Right. Okay.
Which like Okoye and the Wakanda one has been turned. Which I
didn't know there was one, but okay.
Yeah, like it's not been officially announced, but it's been.
That sounds
Okoye
like
and
it might be
Wakanda.
a smart move.
I agree. Not everything needs to be a fucking 6-episode series. Something can just be done in an hour.
I've just spotted this message from Hannah and I don't understand the context. He Jake Peralta'd them?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I know who Jake Peralta is.
No, yes, that's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But
I missed the context of when she sent that message, so I'm not sure what it's in reference to.
No.
So I'm hoping that Hannah will clarify for us in just a moment.
Please do.
Then I need to go to the toilet. Just thought I might as well be honest about it. Oh, you're boring.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because that is where that's from, isn't it? I knew I quoted something.
Yeah, you're boring is from that, and then The Good Place has your basic, which is what I was thinking of because I've seen that recently.
I see. I've only seen a season and a bit of that because I got a bit bored in season 2.
Fair enough.
Largely because it was just season 1 again.
Season 2 is like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not here for this.
Season 3 I actually think was the best season. Season 4 was actually quite weak.
Yeah, I'm sure it does good, but when I was watching season 2, I was just
like... It kind of does like that's a pretty good start, and we'll take a drop to, this is really good. You've taken a drop again. And then it ends. So
that sounds like your average TV show.
Yeah.
All in all, what we've learnt today is...
I like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, we like Chris Hemsworth. Thor was pretty solid.
Maybe pretty solid in that scene he took his top off.
Oh, Lord. Thor... Agreed. Thor was pretty solid. Literally and
figuratively. Yes. Yeah.
You should watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was a bit good, isn't it?
Indeed. Can we go home?
Yeah. What I'll say here is you've probably noticed I've officially given up on the rigmarole because it's just the same few people here every time. Links are all everywhere.
I'm not worried.
So, coming up on the channel.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Nothing. Until a week from now. Well, 6 days from now, I should say.
I don't know why I did
I don't know for sure, but I'm almost certain that Rich will have a gaming stream. If not Rich and Charlie again, Rich will have a gaming stream on Friday at 8 o'clock or just after, so make sure you're around for that.
We need to, I think next Saturday we'll need to do a press start. Because we haven't done one in like 4 weeks now.
There's not really been anything to say.
But yeah, it's supposed to be monthly though, isn't it?
Oh, that doesn't really matter.
Fair enough.
This week was also meant to be Games of Our Lives.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So technically last week was meant to be Games of Our Lives, I think.
Probably. We haven't done that yet. Largely because I haven't sorted it out. Oh yeah, that is what I did. Yeah. But next Saturday, obviously, we will be talking about Captain America, the First Avenger. And then, the week after that, all 4 of us will be here to talk about the Avengers.
Supposedly.
Well, yes. 3 of us, and there's a 4% chance Charlie will be here as well. To talk about the Avengers. And we will also have our end-of-year show, so we will be talking best game, best movie, best TV show, and just general...
And an honourable mention for each.
And a runner-up for each one. And we'll probably talk about some of the ones that just didn't quite make the cut.
Yep, we'll have a chitter-chatter and a piss
We'll
around.
have a
We
bit of
always
a
do on those
chit-chat.
shows.
Maybe next year, or maybe even this year, we should add a worst of each as well.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that. That's something to discuss. Let's see if we can come up with answers first.
Yes.
Because this is the sort of thing that we keep doing.
Yeah.
But
That'll
anyway,
be one where we would like an audience interaction as well of
yes.
put forward your best of
Yes.
each.
So start thinking. You've got 2 weeks. Think of best TV show, best movie, best game. If you don't play games, don't matter. Whatever.
Yeah, just pick one.
Well, no, I just meant just do TV show and movie.
I know.
And then pick a runner-up for each. Mine are all sorted. I just need post to arrive and then to play one of the games. To then
don't
decide.
think you're gonna get it.
Yeah. Probably not. I'll probably get it in February,
Yeah,
in which case
this
I'll just
ring.
send it straight back.
Yeah.
Because I'll be over it. I'll be over it by that point. Because Royal Mail are fucking cunts.
And on that note,
We shall see then.
I can do it.